It's guys' night here on Why We Love Horror TV. Both of our wives couldn't make it for other reasons, whatever. Sure. Aaron, you're here. Aaron Brooks is here. JWMaher is here. Aaron, how you feeling?
Hanging with the boys. We're doing good. Abby's fine as well. She's just not here for this episode, but we're doing all right. It was good to have Dexter Original Sin back in our lives. Albeit to a varying degree of success, I think, with this episode, but we'll get into it. And I do think there's some nuggets to dig through still.
Yeah. This week, coming back from their 1 week hiatus with the big bad body problem.
See that snake ring? It belongs to Tony Ferrer.
Ferrer's prints could lead homicide to me.
You had a dead body in the back of that truck. You could have been caught.
We received an anonymous tip over the Crime Stoppers hotline. Nikki Spencer was spotted at a known cartel stash house.
I think we're dealing with a serial killer.
Do you have anything that resembles evidence?
The killer's methods are escalating. He's becoming more violent.
Let me go! My father's a cop!
Well, where's your sister? She didn't come home last night.
Whoever Dad is, she doesn't want to be found. She pushed everyone away.
He's hiding something. I feel it in my veins.
Someone knows something.
We got the bloodless! Dexter Original Sin. New series now streaming on the Paramount Plus with Showtime plan.
And that is the big bad body problem. A lot happens in this episode. So we're speeding up, but also they've added enough stuff that I do understand the recent news that this will go for more than one season. I think they already made more than one season to wrap up all this stuff. It's nuts. Your initial thoughts on the big bad body problem, Aaron?
There's aspects of it I really liked. Some aspects I'm getting a bit impatient with. Overall, I do think that there's a few very poignant foreshadowing lines that we'll get to here that I'm almost 100% certain gives us the outline for where Resurrection goes.
Yeah, I think we were kind of talking before we went on the air here. Like it's not, this episode is not as strong as the other ones. It's not bad. It's just not as strong. There are some things that I'm finding annoying. I think the most annoying, I think, was it Sophia? Deb's friend Sophia is annoying. I don't like her at all. I don't think, I know in the 90s there were girls like this, but they're really pushing it with her. Like, she's real stupid. I don't think any girl's that stupid.
Right. And while we're on the subject here, I get it. The 90s were a different time, but we've got two problematic relationships with high schoolers, with older gentlemen. That is just the norm, I guess. I get it. The 90s, that was more normal, but it's a little weird between Dexter. I forget that they're not in like junior college and they're in high school because they just don't feel like high school students.
Dexter's got to be like 22 or 23 because he graduated college.
Right. He graduated and he's at a legit job. So there's a problem there. And then with Deb's boyfriend as well, who is going to be an accidental murder victim of Dexter because Dexter doesn't get quite what's going on with this cartel. He thinks it's a cartel killer who's taking all these kids. It's like when we get to the very obvious hesitation cut on the finger, which is I
knew right there. Just everything melted away right there.
Yeah. And I'm glad
picture for me now. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm glad they didn't drag it on because a part of me thought they were making it so obvious it was Captain Aaron, Patrick Dempsey's character, that was doing this, that I thought that it was kind of a swerve. But I think the reason they're making it obvious with Captain Aaron and being come to me is that Dexter misreads that whole hesitation cut. And he's like, oh, it must be a inexperienced cartel member who's doing this. And that's why he cut. No, it's probably because he's emotionally connected to the person that he's doing it to. But I guess that's hindsight from our perspective. But that was one of the things. There's just a few moments in this episode where it's just a little bit feels like it's hammering you over the head with what it's trying to say in a way.
But yeah, we're still stuck with the problem. How do we get rid of these characters? Obviously, we know what's going to happen to Captain Spencer. We know that. Yes. But now I'm thinking, I think Dexter is misreading the evidence, and that's the plan to it. But I do think his boss will read the evidence correctly, and that's what's going to happen to her. She's going to just be she's going to be collateral damage as we wrap up Captain Spencer's storyline. That makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, I think that definitely could be what happens. But we're kind of jumping ahead. It ended on that cliffhanger with how's Dexter going to get out of this with the body in the back end. It's just by saying I'm with forensics.
Yes, I'm with forensics, and then he saves his own ass by just basically feeding the evidence back to the crocodiles a second time. So that was
The dog ate my homework.
Yeah. And I love the fact that they're so pissed at him, but his excuse is so great. And he has witnesses that like, fuck, I guess that's just bad luck.
Yeah, exactly. And then he's like, and then I do like, there's some good humor as well, kind of surrounding that, where he's like talking to everybody in the office later. And he's like, how would you get rid of a body? And like, one was like, I'd have Hannibal Lecter come over to my house, which is just like, it's funny. Like just because like, he's just like useless. Like whatever his name was, I forgot his name, but he's always been useless. So it's like kind of just like a funny little aside of why we never really mentioned this guy again, because like he's just not helpful. Like there's lots of like interesting little stuff within the dynamics of Miami Vice, and I'd almost prefer we spend a little more time inside like Miami Vice with these guys, just like kind of a little bit of like a office workplace type of dynamic, because we do pick up on little things. And this, I'll just jump into the big lines I feel like in this episode that really indicate where we're going, I think, with Resurrection. The first is when Dexter's having the monologue to himself, talking about what he thinks is worse between life in prison or the electric chair. I feel like that is a poignant line. And to me, I think for him, life in prison would be worse than getting killed. Like by far, and it would allow for a possible Dexter in prison spinoff to be later, like Dexter Oz style, a boy can dream. But and then he like talks about how he wants like a rare porterhouse and like 2 milkshakes, and like again they're hammering home this like on the spectrum eating thing or whatever it is with Dexter, and that's fine. But the other line I think that was particularly poignant is when he's talking with Angel, and they're talking about justice. And, basically like Dexter's like, hey, if this guy deserved it, I mean, that's justice. He got killed, type of thing. And Angel is like, that's not justice. Justice is bringing him in to face his crimes. And that's just, again, like just I've touched on it with what we're expecting in Resurrection last week in our little special. I'm sticking to it. Angel is bringing him in and he's being arrested. That's how Resurrection is concluding. And I think it will conclude with him life in prison, because I don't think they are going to kill Dexter. And I think they want to give him his biggest punishment, which would be for him, from his own perspective, life in prison.
I can agree with all that. I think I'll just go in a totally different direction. Like, I think a lot of the whole like Dexter figuring out how to dispose of bodies was like way too goofy. Like the whole like him envisioning Ed Gein and Son of Sam and John Wayne Gacy. I was like, this is the dumbest thing they've done. It's the dumbest thing they've done. Easily. Yeah,
I did not. I was not a fan.
While it's all accurate, and that's probably exactly how those people would interact if they interact with Dexter. Like, I don't think Dexter's stupid enough to figure out, like, oh, if I need to figure out this, let me go read up on what Ed Gein did. Like, you should, if American Psycho is your favorite book and this is what you do, he already knew all that shit. He knew about that.
Yeah.
There's no way he needed to research it. It's dumb. It was just,
I agree.
It was all psych gags. So that's
it was pretty surface level. And when you've seen it done well in Mindhunter, which if you've not watched Mindhunter, go check out Mindhunter on Netflix original, David Fincher, where like these are just much more like, it wasn't meant to be nuanced, but like the Gacy clown was just like, it looked like it didn't even look like John Wayne Gacy from what I can remember him ever looking like as a clown from what I've seen. But these are little nitpicks, and just overall, I feel like the episode's fine. There's just a lot of, at times it feels like going through the motions, particularly with Laura at this point and Harry. That was like one of the really strong points at the beginning, where I felt like they were really furthering the emotion, but like, we got to move it along. We know where this is going. And, like they keep like teasing towards it. Like I thought, we just kind of need to go to it. And I think they're going to wait till the season finale to have it. And
well, yeah, clearly they're having her go to the shipyard So we know that's where she. Well, I mean, the one of the times she goes to the shipyard is where she gets killed.
I mean, and I can't lie. Like her lies are really shitty towards Estrada as they're sitting naked in the pool. She's sitting naked in the pool, which that's a really good way to make sure you're not wearing a wire. So like I get it. But like her lie, he's like, there's other ways to make money. And she's like, I want like all the money. I want this. Like, what you want to be a boss? Like, you want to be a drug
queen of the South? You want to be the queen of the South?
Yeah. So you're gonna be like the whatever her name is from Cocaine Cowboys. I forgot. But it's like, I'm like that. Like he knew. He knows.
He sees right through her. He sees.
And they're not even trying to hide that. Which again, I think they're making the right choice with times to be dramatic and hold the cards, and times like with Captain Andrews and Estrada here, where they're like, we're gonna let you know that we know, and here you go. Like, we're not going to play this game like making this a mystery. We all know where Laura's going. The Dexter thing really bothers me with how young or old Dexter is as a kid here, because that's not how old he was, but I don't really know.
He was like a toddler, like in the original.
Yeah, he's like a 6-year-old here. It's really weird. And then I do think that Brian, the ice truck killer, is currently working on his craft, and he's going to be kind of the overarching nemesis of Original Sin, just like that overarching, like, it's not going to really be exposed maybe till next season a little bit more, but he's clearly working on his craft, like the ice pick in the back of the neck, like all these things where I think like this could be Brian.
Yeah, fair enough. My other big complaint, and like, not that I didn't like the episode, is like I feel like they have no idea what to do with Deb. Like the whole like Deb is Deb. Like we love Jennifer Carpenter's Deb, but like this Deb feels even like beyond Deb at times. Like just the way she is, like
very inconsistent.
I don't give a shit about high school. I don't give a shit about college. Fuck you, Dad. Blah 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 blah. It's a little over the top.
Yeah, it is, and it is not kind of adding or going the places I was hoping it would originally. I'm a little bit let down as the weeks have gone on with Deb. And I just think it's just setting up for her new boyfriend to get tragically taken out by Dexter by mistake. Because I think Dexter's going to blame him for something. And it could be for the Captain Aaron murders. I think that really could be where he ends up going with this. But we'll see.
Maybe. Well, let's get to rating the episode. I'll go first. It is a step back. It's not, like I said, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but this is a solid 3. It's like the good stuff is good. Like I do like the alligator stuff. I do like when Dexter isn't being stupid Dexter, and when Deb isn't being stupid Deb, and when Harry's not being stupid Harry, and when Laura's not being stupid Laura. It's pretty good. However, we get big doses of the stupid versions of all those characters in this one. Whatever. Aaron?
Yeah, I'm also with a 3 here as well. I was whelmed by this episode. I did over focus maybe on the line with Angel and Dexter, but I feel like that line is very indicative of where we're going to end up going. Because again, I just do my prediction right now. Dexter will not kill Angel no matter what Angel does to Dexter, because Angel is too pure. And the guy playing Angel is really, really small, and it's very distracting to me. Like his frame, he's like such a smaller man than whoever plays Angel.
And David Zayas. David Zayas is a big dude.
Yeah. He's a huge dude. This guy is like noticeably tiny. Like he's really tiny arms, like tiny frame. And this episode was the first one I really noticed that. It was good to have.
He does look like him. He looks like him.
He looks like him, yes, but he looks like him shrunk down. And also with LaGuerta, I do like the stuff with LaGuerta where like every couple episodes they add something more where it's like, okay, I can understand why LaGuerta's like had her eyes on Dexter. This is like a long-standing, like Dexter really fucks up routinely, and LaGuerta like routinely is like, what do you mean? Like, so I can get why we get to where we eventually get with both of them not trusting each other, because like LaGuerta definitely seems like the most questioning, and then like there's like the aspect of like Dexter being emotionally weird with the gay cop and like not having any idea what. I don't think he had any idea what he was.
He was basically just like, okay, yeah.
He's like, oh, you got to drink. I won't tell anybody. But like, he's like, I like don't let anybody know I'm gay. Like, but he has like Dexter is such an ally. He doesn't see that at all, even in 1991.
He's a super ally. Autism, people with autism, sociopaths are your ally. Definitely.
Yeah, so like that's good. I like that I like that he was talking about his secret in the hallway while other people were walking by, being like, "Don't tell my secret."
Yeah, he's at one of the most popular clubs in Miami on the street in front of it, and he's talking about it in
the hallway as everybody's walking by. He's like, "Don't tell my secret." He's like, "No problem." Like, there's nothing about Dexter that would make you think he would tell a secret. Like, it's just like trust him.
And the one thing we didn't talk about is we did get the first glimpse of Dexter getting the idea of putting blood on slides, so that's cool. We saw that as well. That's the introduction. That's the Easter egg for this week. Blood on slides this week.
Every week we'll have an Easter egg. But we'll see. You know, I mean, it's heading along fine. I think that maybe I had a little higher expectations after the week off that we are going to get a little more of a payoff than we did.
That'll do it for the episode, though. I'm JWMaher, and that's Aaron Brooks. This has been Why We Love Horror Television. If you made it this far in the episode, like, comment, subscribe, share. Go to the Facebook group at Why We Love Horror, and go to the Letterboxd challenge at that website right there. Pause and go there. Watch movies along with us. Interact with us all year. Schedule is always the same. Sunday, you're watching it. Monday is versus Thursday, Why We Love Horror. We're doing presents this week, and then real matches come back on Friday. Why We Love Horror trivia, starting off with one match this week. The match one person begged for, Hunter Chalmers versus Carrie Webb. And we'll see everybody then. This has been Why We Love Horror TV.